Jahshan is the executive director of the Arab Center in Washington. He joins me now live from the U.S. Capitol. Great to have you here with us on TRT World. So, big names, big numbers, big investment promises. This was a business trip. It wasn't a political trip, was it?
There is no doubt about it. Since day one, when President Trump began to discuss the possibility of this visit, he essentially focused on personal things and on economic aspects of the trip, not the geopolitical aspects of such trip and the summits included within it. So essentially, I think it was motivated by personal aspirations of the president in terms of his sagging popularity and the fact that some of his economic problems in this country influenced his, let's say, the public support that was eroded as a result of the tariff wars with China and with other countries imposed on so many countries around the world. So essentially, he needed a foreign policy victory, a quick and easy foreign policy victory. And that's essentially what this trip is all about. In addition, of course, Mr. Trump is always referring to big things, big achievements, and so on. So he loves to keep repeating numbers, whether they are realistic or not. Initially, we all remember he talked about maybe $2 to $3 trillion of business potentially generated by this trip. He probably will get up to one, but not necessarily three, or even as some of his aides way back referred to, maybe even 10 to 12 trillion dollars. So I think I agree with you that it's essentially an economic or a business trip, and that's what Trump is all about.
Now, Khalil, let me ask you something that is of paramount importance for Muslims. See, now the United States has signed its biggest defense pact with Saudi Arabia. And I think it's fair to say that the relationship between Riyadh and Washington is perhaps the best that it's ever been. So tell me, Washington deepening its ties with Riyadh, what does it mean for the wider Muslim world, considering Saudi Arabia is a major Muslim country, home to many Muslim holy sites?
There is no doubt about it that first of all, the relationship, the alliance, if you will, between Washington and Riyadh is a historic one that goes back more than 8 decades, as the president referred to it in his speech today. And Saudis are very proud, and they do value that relationship. However, frankly, as an old observer of this relationship, I don't think that relationship or bilateral relationship specifically has not been nurtured as well as it should have been over the years. So it's been rocky. It's been at the mercy of changes from one administration to another, and even changes within administrations themselves. So the relationship has seen a lot of ups and downs politically. So to see the focus and the choice of words, if you will, being used by the President of the United States at this time is very interesting. And it shows that you're right, that the relationship is probably at its best. But frankly, fancy words and the type of compliments we've heard, rosy compliments we've heard from the president, are not a substitute for qualitative, if you will, political or diplomatic progress. It remains to be seen whether this administration will really cater to the demands of Saudi Arabia with regards to its own needs, security needs, and so on, aside from the deals that have been signed thus far. Because these requests are not limited, if you will, to arms purchases. It's a much bigger relationship than spending or investing some Saudi resources in American arms industry. So whether the demand for, let's say, an immediate ceasefire, lasting ceasefire in Gaza, other issues like Syria, yes, the sanctions have been lifted. But then now the challenge just begins in terms of reconstruction, in terms of building a solid relationship with the West. The same thing with Gaza and Palestine. The president definitely hinted still at his old project of normalization. But at the same time, he seems to be more, I would say, disciplined in his demands in this regard than in the past, with regards to kind of like unconditional demand of normalization from the Arab side with Israel. Now he seems to acknowledge that there are some difficulties, there's public opinion issues that stands in the way, and there are demands that need to be met. So whether those demands are met or not, that's the ultimate test for the success of this trip.
Right, and Khalil, I believe that this meeting also sent many messages across the region, especially to countries such as Iran, which obviously is a U.S. Adversary. But then there's also talk about messaging going to China. I mean, we all know what's Saudi position when it comes to Iran. But when it comes to China, what kind of message do you think this meeting between the Saudi Crown Prince and Donald Trump sends to Beijing?
That's a complicated issue for both sides. Definitely, I think Mr. Trump has started on the wrong foot with regards to the tariffs against China. He's very concerned about the spreading influence of China in the region, and particularly with deals that they've made with countries considered close to the United States, like Saudi Arabia. Of course, Saudi Arabia also has its own interest. It has diversified its global relationships, both in terms of economics and politics, with different countries, including China, and is not willing to necessarily roll that back. There are differences, if you will, that one can read between the lines with regards to American positions vis-a-vis China and Saudi position vis-a-vis China. But Mr. Trump feels that his visit and the deals he struck today and will continue to seek in the future will somehow limit the influence of China. But what if, as we have seen in recent weeks, the talks with China seem to be going well with regards to tariffs? What if they continue to improve diplomatically? Will that competition over Chinese influence in the Middle East continue or not? So it is unpredictable, and almost as unpredictable as the mindset of the President of the United States. He keeps changing his mind on these issues almost daily. So it remains to be seen whether what we have seen today, the basically festivities, the warm welcome, whether that would last and color the bilateral relationship between Riyadh and Washington, or whether this will be just a PR exercise of limited time span.
Fascinating insights, Khalil Jahshan. Thanks very much for joining me here on TRT World. Appreciate your taking out the time.